Hello, good morning. Welcome everybody to another episode of A Cup of Coffee in the Neighborhood with Jennifer Richardson.
Good morning.
So today we're just going to talk about two subjects. Jennifer's going to give us some just stats, kind of like, here's the current state of the market. And then we're going to get into the difference between buying a new construction home and then actually doing a construction to perm loan, which is it's just a vastly different process. And I've just been getting a lot of questions about that lately. So I figured why not share the knowledge. So Jen, what's going on?
So stats are really exciting and a little bit shocking. So I pulled stats for Wilmington and then also for Leland because those are kind of our two main areas in our market. So listings in Wilmington for the past week have been up 25%. So people are listing quite a bit in Wilmington, and I kind of felt that, but I wanted to see those numbers to prove it, and it's happening. So we are seeing more inventory hit the market. Leland, however, listings are down 40%. Okay. So it's pretty interesting that's happening. I don't know why, but so Wilmington is kind of sort of doing this, whereas over the past few months I saw Leland kind of carrying on inventory. So that's interesting. Showings are up in both areas. So showings in Wilmington up about 30%, in Leland up about 18%. And we're talking month over month right now because I've been sort of tracking monthly on our data. As far as days on market, again, Wilmington up 40%, which sounds terrifying. It's still a normal market. Okay, it's still a seller's market. We've got limited inventory, even though it is increasing. So that's around 88 days on market as the average for Wilmington. That's every single property, considering new construction and resale. Okay. As far as Leland goes, days on market is down 36%, so they dipped down to about 73 days on market. Okay. So we're seeing some differences depending on where you want to buy. And, best advice that I'm giving, when we're out in the market with buyers is we've got to look at these stats and kind of see what's going on, just so they know what to expect, especially when we have that preliminary meeting of them saying, hey, how is the market? Well, it depends. Are you looking to buy in Wilmington? Are you looking to buy in Leland? Are you looking to buy in Hampstead or Jacksonville? It just depends. So, but that's the Wilmington and Leland stats right now.
Okay, so yeah, just to kind of summarize. So it seems to me like listings are down in Leland, but they're not staying on the market for as long in Leland.
That's right.
Listings are up in Wilmington, and they are staying on the market a little bit longer.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you know. So, I mean, that's just all it goes into planning. A lot of people are like, oh, we're going to do it next week. We're going to list next week. We're going to list next week. Well, we wanted to do A, B, and C before we list. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, I always look at it like this. It's like that time doesn't start until you put the sign in the yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I get it. Sometimes you're just, you're waiting for a holiday weekend or something else like that, which, we got one coming up. But other than that, I feel like, sooner is usually better, especially when you're looking at things that are going to be staying on the market a little bit longer. So that's just something that, all the listings, I'm sure that when you talk to your sellers, that it's just something you have to back plan.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we want to make sure that it's priced appropriately. We want to make sure that we've set proper expectations on how long it might take to sell. And of course, what percentage you're likely to receive from your list price. And I mean, you can't just put a price on something and call it a day, and hope that you get it. You've got to be very strategic at this point. So.
Yeah. And then, I just wanted to kind of get into the difference between what it means to actually buy a new construction home and then actually do like a construction or perm loan.
Yeah.
With inventory kind of being down and some ebbs and flows. And then I know a lot of people that are moving here from, New York, New Jersey. And then some people moving here from California and they're like, hey, this is where I'm retiring. This is my forever home. I want it to be just my specifications, just how I want it. So it's kind of like two different roads that you can kind of look at. A new construction home is going to be the exact same loan process for the most part as your typical buying a pre-lived in home. We're going to close just the same. Closing costs are going to be the same. I know builders are giving a lot of incentives for those right now. So pretty much everything's going to be the same. The only stipulations really lie is like how far out do you think you can lock the loan? And that's going to be one of those things that you're always going to be talking to the listing agent on. Try to get something in writing from the buyer's agent or not the buyer's agent, but from the builder's agent, so that you can be like, okay, cool, like this is actually when we're going to receive our certificate of occupancy, and this is when we're actually going to close, so that you actually lock your loan for the right duration.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't understand, like when you lock your loan, usually you're locking it for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and depending on how long that lock duration is, depends on how much the pricing is and so on and so forth. So that's one of the stipulations when it comes to a new construction. When it comes to a construction to perm, vastly different process. We have to do our research on it. We have to do it up front. We have to make sure that that builder is on an approved list, because some builders are on an approved list and some of them aren't. Some of them, their personal finances are not as good as you would want them to be. And now you're talking about like a 12-month type of time frame, right?
And when you're saying construction to perm, just so the general population understands that is you've either found a piece of land and you've identified a builder, or maybe they have a land home package, but they haven't even broken ground or gone through permits yet. It's usually that, something that they're customizing, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're picking out the contract from the builder. You're picking out all the stuff that goes inside of the house, and the builder is essentially receiving what's called draws as you go through. Usually it's 4 draws, and that is covering the cost of materials. Depending on what the loan type is, the borrower will then cover the interest on those draws for the most part, unless you're talking about VA. If you're talking about a VA construction loan, then they can't cover the interest rate as it goes through, because the house actually has to be built. But it's necessary that people kind of understand that that is a very risky loan from the lender's perspective, right? Because lenders are not in the business of owning homes. They're in the business of lending out money. And they're damn sure not in the business of owning half-built homes. So if you like to think about just what transpired over the last year, think about that at scale. When it's talking about humans, that's a lot of variability there. So you have to understand that the closing costs, when it comes to a construction to perm loan, it's going to be higher. There's also one-time closings and two-time closings construction to perm loans, which obviously then you're having to pay closing costs for possibly two different types of closings. It's always going to be beneficial just to have a single closing, but some lenders offer that and some lenders do not. But it's just one of those things that you need to talk to a lender that actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to that sort of thing, and you need to factor in how much is it going to go over? Generally speaking, a lot of times it goes 10 to 20% over your original. So the lender is probably going to pre-qualify you for more than you originally thought it was going to be. And then it's just one of those things that takes a lot of research, and it takes a lot more time. And it's one of those things that you do not pull the trigger on as far as getting under contract on land or anything else until you do all that research. You have the builder already on the approved list and everything else, and you already have your pre-qualification legitimately done.
100%. And I mean, Mark, I'm doing one for a client right now, and they're doing a semi-custom build, so they don't have to do a construction to perm, but they've already encountered, I would say, 3 different instances where things went well above budget just based on what they wanted. So I think it's very important that everybody be on the same page, the agent, the lender, the buyers, everybody be on the same page, and make sure that, you're not trying to go this route if you can't afford it, quite frankly.
Right.
You don't have a lot of money laying around, because it can get really costly.
It can.
And just adding things and then delays and things like that too, with locking rates, extended rate locks and things like that can be, somewhat pricey depending on the terms.
And and everybody's been looking at the economy right now. So you can tell that everything's kind of going up and down. I know that when we bought this house, this is a Mungo house, we didn't have the clause of the escalation clause within the contract. But a lot of the times, especially when it comes to builder contracts, for construction and perm loans, they're going to have an escalation clause. So you could end up paying more at the end of the day. And it's just one of those things that they're going to want you to have skin in the game, because it's a risky loan. At the end of the day, it's a risky loan. It's a 12-month process, and think about all the things that can transpire in somebody's life in 12 months. You know what I mean? A borrower could pass away, they could lose their job, tons of things can transpire over 12 months. And now, the lender or the bank is sitting there holding on to a half-built house, and that doesn't look good on anybody's books. So just kind of be cognizant of that when you're thinking about doing the construction or the new construction type of loans, and just have the conversation early, and then just everybody kind of get on the same page, because it will help the overall process.
For sure. That's great info. Thanks.
But other than that, we hope that y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.